what's up everybody? It's your boy Hugh here. Today I got a special treat for you guys. We are actually in the middle of prepping for the upcoming Meta event, the Meta Connect, in this secret location. With me, we have Michael.
Firstly, I'm super excited. As soon as we got greenlit for this project, again, this is the second year we've had the opportunity to work with our collaborators at Meta for Meta Connect. The experience is incredible because it allows us to have the immersive effect with the magnified view. So what does that mean? That means that the way we see and experience the world is in two fields. One, which we could see everything around us in 3D space, and we have ability to move fully in 6 off. And then when we want to hyper focus on things, it gives us this magnified view, and that's something that's always been lacking in immersive. We've never had the ability to see a magnified view unless we move the camera. Here, we give our content creators and filmmakers the same story mechanics that we're used to, which is how we convey stories through the unspoken words, how we convey stories by reframing, by refocusing the audience's attention. And I think that this could be a really important use case. The differentiation that we're exercising here all the time at Radiant, as well as Meetmo, is that we believe that the future is real time. And that means that there's a merge of how content is created and the processes of going through post-production to final delivery, that needs to be streamlined. That means from ideation to content creation to final distribution, that needs to happen in a real-time state. So we are doing the hardest part, which is doing everything pixel perfect, no post-production, color grading, stereoscopic, perfect pixel finish, with ultimate high resolution. Our platform supports up to 8K. At Radiant, we've always been committed in sharing with community best practices and hoping others could leap ahead of us. And I hope that this can be something that we can share with you guys today in relooking how we create content and relieving some of this process of post-production to final delivery, making it a lot more streamlined.
If you want to see the end result, go into a Horizon World in MetaQuest headset, and then you can see the live show on Meta Connect inside your MetaQuest 3. Behind me, actually, the prep station. If you guys can see it, with 5 camera, I just want to really show you guys what is go behind the scene to create such an event, such a successful event like last year and come up this year. It's a lot of work put into it. But before we do that, we're first gonna start with a little bit of a history lesson about stereoscopic 3D capturing. Let's go there. Okay, so Michael, what we have here?
Great, so this is what we consider a beam splitter, and this is typically how we've shot many movies, from IMAX to television series, to live events, live concerts. We used the rigs like this for last year's Meta Connect. As you can see, what it allows us to do is have 2 cameras, one going through the mirror prism and the other one shooting the reflective. And what that allows us to do is get our IPDs as close as possible. If you notice, everyone's conversations in stereo is about IPD. We're trying to replicate human vision as close as possible. Human vision is anywhere between 65 inches to 65 millimeter to 70 millimeters. And that allows us to get very similar aspects and depth perception. So this allows us to use any cameras and get our subjects very close. It's great. The only problem is it takes up a lot of space. It requires a lot of more technical achievements. So we got rid of this big, huge beam splitters. We went into more side-by-side, smaller form factor cameras. Obviously, we've done some modifications to those cameras. We've shaved the cameras about 1 inch so that we can get them even closer to replicate 69 millimeter human vision. This is no longer part of our offering. We will use it for some of the cinematic stuff where we need to get subjects very close, but most live concert events, our subjects are probably 15, 20 feet away. And we need to be as small, as fluid as possible, because now we're integrating with traditional broadcasters. And the traditional broadcasters do not have any patience for big, huge rigs with 3 operators standing behind it, and that's why we went into all remote control devices. So our pan, tilt, zoom, focus, iris, all those are remotely controlled miles away. So that gives the freedom for us to integrate underneath the jib, like we talked about, where you'll see at Meta Connect, or be integrated with a traditional broadcast. The great thing is we offer our broadcasters, one of the eyes is a normal 2D camera. So we're able to feed directly into a live broadcast, and we've done that many times, including what we did for NASA Artemis. We took their traditional live broadcast, we brought it into the metaverse as a power window. So now we can convey these stories from the astronauts with close-ups, and we can bring remote teams in, remote camera feeds in real time, and bring it in 3D space. And that's what Andrew's gonna show us in a few minutes.
Nice. So for educational purpose, like what is it? The old Hollywood 3D movie all shot on this beam splitter rig?
Yes. Yeah. So
like any movie?
Yeah, Jaws 3, basically Avatar, including the most recent avatars, are currently being shot with beam splitters. We're obsessed by getting them small as possible. This is one of our smallest beam splitters.
How without a camera, how expensive is this thing, and what is the rental of this thing?
Sure. Beam splitters nowadays, they're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the reason for that, especially the ones that we use, it's fully automated. It's crazy, because before in the past, you had to have a rig tech, make adjustments. We can't do that on live. There is no second take, oh, this is off. We have a rocket ship taking off, and they're not gonna come back down just so you can get that take, right? So we have to be pixel perfect. So our rigs can align themselves in real time as we're moving. So they're doing what's called, we have a system that we've worked with, which is called a SIP box, a stereo image processor, that analyzes each luminance between the different cameras, all the zoom offsets. So in real time, the rigs will adjust themselves. So it's always pixel perfect, and we'll demonstrate that for you as well. Okay guys, great. We just got rid of Hugh. It's just you and I now. So let me show you what we have here. So all of our camera feeds go into our 8K live switcher. So we have the Blackmagic Constellation. We have two of them. They're all doing different things, but allows us to switch and then also do a lot of the combines. And then we have our VPD box, which is down there, and that's what we call virtual production desktop. That allows us to do a lot of the stereoscopic combines, 3D graphics, and now we're able, from here, distribute this to all the engineering side for stereoscopic alignment, which is what we consider our SIP box. Remember we talked about the stereo image processor? So that allows us to get accurate, real-time stereo disparity between cameras so that our team can do minor adjustments in real time. And then the signal flow gets transferred into the technical director, the directors, the focus puller, the camera operators, because they don't need to always see things in 3D stereo, but our engineering team does, and our stereographers do, and the director and the producers, they definitely want to see things as pixel finish in 3D. But this allows us to, again, do a lot of the steps that we used to do with a big, huge broadcast truck in a small slice.
So tell me about this camera rig.
Okay, so again, we're back to a different configuration. Back there, we talked about small form factor cameras that we had massaged. We made them about 1 inch smaller. We're using the Blackmagic Micro Four Third style lenses and zooms, but it's a different world. When we want to go magnify, we need precision. We need to go into more cinematic lenses like these Fujinons. So these are able to now be remotely controlled through what we call a FIZ, a focus, iris, and zoom control system. And the differentiation between this and what you see commercially available on the market is one. You can do all two axes at the same time. It's really precise. And precision, if one of the eyes is out of focus just a little bit, fraction of a second, which is the other one, it will make you sick. It will be horrible. It's the worst effect, because that's like having one blurry eye. So synchronization out of our C-Motion systems is incredible. And C-Motion has done incredible things in stereoscopic synchronization between multi-axes. So here we could control focus, iris, and zoom. And our ACs are able to pull focus, thousands of miles away. It could be through fiber, it could be hundreds of miles away. And our remote head, same thing, could be also remotely controlled. This gives us the freedom, again, being super compact. I'm not bigger than a traditional 2D camera. I'm about the same size. And I don't have to have an operator standing next to the camera. I don't have to put a focus puller right next to the camera. Everything is remoted. So again, the philosophy is to integrate with traditional broadcasters without being this awkward, big, huge, computers and weird stuff. This allows us to integrate really well with broadcasters. All right, guys, so this is an incredible solution. This is called Wheels. This is made by a company called Noda. It's called Inertia Max Pro. It offers a 3-axis control. As you can see, I'm able to pan, and then I'm going to tilt down. I'm going to go look down, and then James right here is able to pull focus, and he's able to zoom, iris, and control. So now we're going to move the camera.
So how can you pull focus on a stereo rig?
Well, yeah, you could only do that if you have things synchronized, and that's where the C-motion is a great solution. So James, when he's pulling focus, he's doing it as like if he was pulling focus on a traditional 2D, except the camera, the encoders in the focus system are synchronized together.
So your system basically dumbed down a stereo rig into a mono rig, so your focal puller can focus on just one eye?
That's exactly what he's looking at. Same thing with an operator. It'd be too distracting if they did everything in stereo. They want to just see a clean, high-resolution feed. So James has got a 4K 3D, 4K monoscopic monitor that he's pulling from. The operators are using a standard monitor for focus, for operation as well. So this actually started from in the World War II era with gunneries. That's how they would operate their machine guns and so forth. And they were able to control the precision of heavy equipment. And back in the 40s and 30s, film cameras were 100 pounds. Still, but Alfred Hitchcock, when he was shooting on the Mitchells, those were not small cameras. Those are like hundreds of pounds of camera array. And the only way you can operate it is on a geared head. And look, he's like fish on water. He's able to.
Hugh, open to camera if you can. Yeah, one way. Yeah. Turn around. Yeah.
Wow.
See how precise it is?
I know. It's my
It's
first time
so,
touching one of these.
yeah.
So right now we're in front of what's our 3D program. These glasses just aren't cool glasses. These are 3D glasses. What does that mean? They're polarized. So I have one eye is polarized, where the other one is polarized in a different direction. And that allows me to look at this television set and see 3D like I'm wearing a VR headset. But I'm not wearing a VR headset, I'm wearing my stereoscopic polarized glasses. So this has the left eye and the right eye in interlace. So right now when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing our 3D image. I see the depth, I see our graphics, which is being brought in by one of our VPDs that's running our real-time compositing system. So we're able to take in the graphics from the broadcast truck, take them in from the LED wall, and turn them into our 3D graphics for production. So when we're watching it in a headset, this graphic here is going to be floating out in space in front of the stage, just like if we were watching a Jumbotron at the real event. So we're able to do this again in real time, straight to our broadcast switchers. I have my HyperDeck here. It's an 8K HyperDeck. So this allows me to record and play back and monitor right here in this little teeny package. I can take this up. It's got a handle. I can take it with me, but not really. I leave it here. We have our control surface here. This allows me to control Touch Designer. So it's a touch screen. I'm able to do all the great things that touch screens can. But again, we're supplementing the broadcast. So all I'm really doing is waiting to get that feed from broadcast. I'm doing automatically what I need to do here and sending it back to the switcher so it can be integrated in real time with the broadcast switcher. So our TD can take our lower thirds. Like right now, I'm gonna bring in a lower third. Watch this. So there's our lower third graphic. And this lower third will be fed from the broadcast truck. I'm not generating it here. It's generated in mono on the expression, sent to me via SDI in 1080p. I then take that, I bring it through our VPD box, turn that into a S3D card, so that's a left eye, right eye in space. So right now in 3D space, as I'm seeing this, it's right at screen space. So what does that mean? That it is like the screen, where the screen is, and I can still see things in front of it. So I have some stereo artifacts here because this camera is in front of this card. But on the day of our production, we protect all that. We make sure that when we're set up, our convergence is set, so that way we have nothing coming into our graphics. Because that's horrible. If somebody was sitting here, our graphic comes in, it just cuts their head off. We're not trying to do that. And here's our side-by-side. So this is really what we're dealing with. But in the headset, we're gonna squish this down, we're gonna make it into the normal aspect ratio, and we'll see discrete per eye. And that's way better than we're looking on this TV, because we're only getting the left eye and we're only getting the right eye. On this
headset, it looks so much
perfect. It's perfect 3D, and there's no problem with like the brightness of the screen or bleed through on left eye, right eye like we have with these glasses. You go see a 3D movie in the movie theater, same problem. It looks 3D, but it's not perfect 3D. You still see a little bit in this eye, you still see a little bit in that eye, but not in headset. It is boom, in your face. It's 3D.
And it's real-time live, no post-production. We can create efficiencies and scale, and I think that's what we're trying to really pass the messaging for the future content creators. I want leverage this method is to do things in real time.
No, well, real time is great for a lot of reasons, because especially for events, but not just events, motorsports, sports, comedy. There's so many things that we can go and capture that thing live, even if it's not for broadcast. We do what's called a line cut, right? We're taking all our cameras, we're switching it live. We're still recording each camera separately. We might go in After Effects and change the edit, cut it down, but really we are creating it while it's happening, and we're not going back in and really doing much. We have the product there. So we can go to an event, we can set up, we're plugging in, or we can be doing like theater. We can shoot multi-camera, like what James Cameron did with Avatar. He brought his actors into a stage, he shot them in 3D for reference, so he knew exactly where they were, but he did it with multi-cam. He had a broadcast setup, and he was taking those cameras and using that for his reference for creating the movie. That wasn't Final Pixel, it was his reference for what is the movie going to be, where are the people supposed to be in 3D space. So you could look at them on the stage, watch his actors do the thing, and then the animators would go in and place our cameras. They do camera tracks, but they had that stereo reference. Now we're able to do that with real actors in a real space on a real set and capture those actors in that 3D environment, in our spatial world. And for the metaverse, or for movies, or for television, or for theater, or for broadcast, or immersive experiences, that's what this enables. It enables us to create in real time with our actors, with our artists, and not be limited by like, oh, we'll fix it in post. We're still going to fix it in post, but stereo has been so difficult because of that. We try to create that feeling of immersion, of closeness, of persona in 3D. That's what 3D really gets you. It's not about the old days of poking you with the stick or scaring you with popcorn in your face. It's the feeling of somebody really being there, presence. And now we're in it, we're creating it in it with a team that's in it. That's why broadcast is so great. We're able to take that soul of the thing, and everybody working on that team makes this great event happen. That's why we love watching live events through the television, through our phones, and now through headset. This is what we call master control. Generally, master control is either a huge truck, a huge room, millions of dollars of gear to do what we're doing here on a desk. Not just that, we're doing it all virtually IP-based through our switcher that you saw before over there, that whole engineering setup. This is really what controls that. We have our switcher from Blackmagic, so this allows us to switch our cameras, and we're doing this all again in real time, so we're taking in both cameras, they're being switched at the same time, and we're maintaining our graphics. We can take in and out our graphics. That's done, again, real time. We're bringing that in, as you saw, through our VPD before. Now, what more do we have than this? We have an 8K screen. This is called an 8K computer monitor that we're actually using an 8K SDI to DisplayPort converter. So that allows us to use the resolution power of 8K. So we probably have like 100 sources more being shown on this right now. And of course, for broadcast, we'll probably fill this with all kinds of supplemental sources from the broadcast truck. We'll have teleprompters, we'll have ISO cameras, but this allows us to see the whole show. Matt will be getting calls from the director, so the director will be looking at a larger multi-view with just his cameras, and he'll be saying, you know, ready camera 2, take camera 2, and he'll switch it to camera 2. And then I'll be saying, okay, ready 1, take 1. And then I'll go, okay, ready lower third, take lower third. And so Matt is trained almost in muscle memory on that stuff. So like he doesn't even have to think about it. When he hears those commands, he's ready to go. It's almost automatic. It's like a band and a drummer. He's playing the guitar, he's playing the drums. He's doing actually everything at the same time. He's the one-man band. Now what does he have over here? This is really cool. This is another piece that from Blackmagic that controls our Blackmagic cameras all directly. This allows him to remotely control everything on the camera from his color to his ISO to his iris. You can even control zoom on this as well on the right camera with the right lens. On our system, we're using cinema lenses mainly, but in a broadcast sense, we use this as well, where this allows us to have generally full control except pan, tilt, and zoom. That would be left to our camera operators. But he's able to go through each camera and match left eye, right eye, match it to our broadcast as well, because we're going to bring it into our broadcast environment. We need to white balance each camera, so each camera matches in white. All the things that we generally think about for our one camera, he has to think about not just for the multi-camera, but for stereo pairs. But because of the system, we're able to mirror the pair. So we're able to go, oh, what I want on this, I want on that, and then adjust it slightly, because even though they're identical cameras, there still could be some slight differences. What we have over here, these are our scopes and our monitors. Again, doing this all through our input cards on our VPD. So we have our full computer with our NVIDIA GPU that's able to take in our signal, and he's able to look at the actual vector scope, and our color match is actually done through that. We're not using our eyes, although we're using our eyes to look at the scope and looking at the color voltages of red, green, and blue to match the color.
Okay guys, thank you so much for being here with us. So you see the whole operation, and the event is not happened yet. It's gonna happen next week. Definitely go on Meta Horizon and see it live for next week Meta Connect.